Hey everyone, how you guys doing today? This is Ronnie just coming to you today with a video. I was bored, I was at the house and I said, you know what? I haven't went live in a while and just figured, you know what? Let's do this. Show off some things we've sold over the last few months, so on, etc. And just see what's going on. But probably gonna try to go a little bit quickly through some of this stuff, just because I don't like to spend too much time on it. And what's up, Wes and Mr. Sadie? How you guys doing? So I have to do something for the wife that I forgot I had to do. But with that being said, nothing but a little bit of snow outside, a little bit. But with that being said, sales have been pretty decent up and down, going fairly well. So I figured I'd show off a few things that we've sold over the last few months. Certain things are good buys. There was a few bad buys, but just threw them all in there just to show some of the stuff we've gotten. Now, I'm a little new to this, so be patient with me because I might screw this up a little bit. So I'm going to get into it. I'm going to show the first item here. And let me see here. All right, so we're going to go into this. This is a Brioni tie. I just picked this up and hope everybody can see the screen fairly well. It's not just a regular Brioni tie. You can see right here for the tags. This one I felt was basically new without tags. I don't usually do that all too often. This one I did. This one I paid somewhere between $1 and $3 for it. I forgot where I got it. If I got it at a Goodwill, it was $3. If I got it at a Salvation Army, it was $1. So I don't remember exactly. It sold fairly quickly in 4 days. It had this little bit of print on it. I couldn't even tell you what it is, but it was like silver, a blue, and black, and it was a nice looking tie. Sold fairly well. And that sold for full price $90 plus shipping. So not bad at all. All right, I think I changed the screen around. Maybe this one will do a little bit better. So we'll go on to the second one now here. And we'll go. Here's the second one. This is a Brioni shirt that we sold. My wife picked this up with a few other shirts in a store. It was a nice, clean, white Brioni shirt. Sometimes we find Brioni, it's out there. Depending on condition, color, size, you can get anywhere from 40 to about 100, I feel, is the top of the line for a used condition, pre-owned Brioni shirt. This one was a fitted fit, which is like a slim fit, had French cuffs, which is good and bad sometimes. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. It was white in color, which was a good thing. You can see the tag right there. I mean, this shirt is pretty clean. The tags are all stiff and not all beat up and not faded. So it was really good. This one we got $93.74, and we were into this shirt for about $7. So not bad. The wife found this one day when we were going out. So she found a bunch of high-end shirts, including the next one that we sold. But I hope that one was better. Yeah, I got my Dominican cap on today. Figured I'd change it up a little bit. How you doing, Mr. Scott Williams? Haven't seen you in a while. Blackberry Triscus tea. Dawn, hope you all doing well. So, well, eventually you will find Brioni. It's out there. You'll find it. But okay, let's go on to the next one here. Then we have here this is a Turnbull Asser shirt. We just sold this not too long ago. And The Brioni shirt took 11 days to sell. This Turnbull Asser took 33 days to sell. This my wife found also with the 7 or 8 shirts she picked up, or no, it was 10 shirts, I think, high-end men's dress shirts. We paid about $7 each. Some were marked $5.99, $6.99, $7.99. Average it out, it was $7. And this was made for the movie, or not for the movie specifically, but it was like a runoff Turnbull and Asser high-end English shirt maker, and they made some of these shirts for the movie Kingsman. It's a size 16, just a regular blue shirt. It really didn't have much going for it. It had the 3-button cuff, which I think is a barrel cuff. It was a really nice, clean shirt. Like I said, we paid about $7 for this one. It took about 33 days to sell. I actually messed this up and only put Kingman originally in the title, fixed it. It sold about 2 days later for $95.99. So that was fairly well and fairly good. Let me see here. Get rid of some of these tabs that are open. Canelli shirts don't move well for me at all either. I have a few listed that are actually, one's even brand new and it hasn't moved at all. They're the only shirt I think that has the 3-button cuffs that I can remember. So I'm not really, you know, Wes, man. I don't like button-up shirts at all. I'm a t-shirt guy. T-shirt. But the next 2 things are kind of funky. These things I bought, and it was just like that gut feeling that they were going to sell. I actually paid like $15 for them. And let me get in here and do a screen share and show you guys real quick. There was 2 of them, and man, these things were hideous. This was one of them. It's a oak loom, and this kind of fabric there, Lena, yeah, whatever that said. It was like a wool and cashmere blend. It was a flannel, heavier jacket thing. It was kind of on the smaller side, 38 small. It was 3-piece suit, but this thing was ugly looking. As you can see right here, has these weird peak lapels, wide peak lapels, 3-button, kind of just like, I found this on a day. I was not having a good day out there, and I found 2 of these, and believe it or not, they sold. One sold in 80 days, and one sold in 60 days. So go figure. But I wouldn't recommend picking this up 100%. Oak loom, tailored by hand, and it was like this charcoal gray with like a yellowish pinstripe. It was pretty freaking hideous. There was the tag for the inside, 90% wool, 10% cashmere. I think this one had a little bit of an issue too. Yeah, it had a little hole in the front of the pants. It's still sold, so that's a good thing, I guess, right? But that sold. And then we had a second one that we picked up. So we'll just go through here, make sure everything's okay. All right. It's kind of hard to keep up with the chat and go back and forth. I'm trying. But let's go to the next one here. And then we had this. Where are we here? This was the other one. And this one had a small hole too. They both had small holes. They both sold though. So you can see right here, same thing. Oak loom. They had this Super 100s fabric here, but same style of jacket. You know, big old, you know, wide lapels. This thing was probably 70s, I would assume, and just ugly. But they were both floored, and I didn't notice it till I came home. There was the hole on this one. That's not really a moth hole. I don't know why I put moth hole. That's a little bit bigger than a. Well, it's not big, but it's definitely not a moth hole. It's like a little bit of a tear, I guess. But I bought it and never heard back from them. So, and both of them sold fairly quick. I mean, somewhat quickly for suits, 60 days and 80 days. So, hey, I mean, I'll take it, I guess. You know, at the end of the day, you know, pretty cool. What's up, the crazy card? How you doing? Thought I do have a lot of grays in my beard, so I get it. And, I don't know what that in reference to. I got grays when I married my wife. So as soon as I married my wife, it was a wrap. Grays started coming out everywhere. Well, happy birthday tomorrow, Wes. I'll probably message you tomorrow at some point, but if I remember. But if I don't, happy birthday ahead of time. But let's get into this. This next thing is, you know, I'm usually sell clothing, but we did sell a lot of like bows, stuff last few weeks ago. Then we sold this other radio thing here. So let me see here. So this radio here, this radio I picked up, and I already noticed a flaw in the listing. It's kind of funny how I noticed this now. Paid $20 for this. This took 111 days to sell. Had some issues. It was in good condition. The tape player worked. I mean, the radio worked itself. It had the antennas, which are usually broken off on this, but it was missing the battery cover. It was missing a knob, and the tape player didn't work. So it was like, oh man. Found some pieces, and then some pieces didn't work. See right there on the end, all the way, one of the knobs was missing. It was kind of a cool looking radio, to say the least. It's made by Sony, but these prices were all over the place, and I didn't really want to hold on to it that long. I kind of priced it up a little bit. It needed to be cleaned up a little bit also, but it had some issues with missing pieces and things like that. But I did have the cord, which a lot of them did not have. And this was, you know, it was in fairly good condition. I mean, but we sold it. Somebody once said they kept on coming back and forth. First we started at like 75, and then finally I was like, you know what, you hit 100 and I'll ship it your way. I made some money on the shipping because it was actually fairly close to like New Jersey. Shipped FedEx. As you can see, I hit $30 on it. I think it shipped for like 16 or something. But it did cost, you know, I had some foam board that I used with the box and everything. And some, you know, it did cost some money in bubble wrap and what do you call it? Peanuts and stuff like that. So it wasn't, and I realized I don't like shipping big things. It's not like one of my things I like to do whatsoever, but I messed up on the title on that big time. That thing was heavy. You put that thing on your shoulder, you break your shoulder. But thought there was a question here. Question: since I need inventory, do I buy stuff can list at 25, or do I stick to my guns and not buy anything I can't list at least 30? I mean, I guess it just depends on what your business model is and what you like to sell. I sell some stuff that's under $30, even though I have probably my average is probably 75, 80-ish most times, between 60 and 80 most months. Just depends on the month. Like in the summer, I don't sell as many suits and sport coats, so my sales average does dip down somewhat. But I think it just depends on what you find. You find a bunch of stuff for $1, $2, and you can get 25 for it or 20 for it even, and you think it might sell fast. It's not actually that bad. Niners or Packers? Niners. For some reason, I don't like Green Bay. Don't know what it is. Never a fan of Green Bay. Here we go. This I got from another reseller. This is a Polo Ralph Lauren wool brown houndstooth vest, buckle back, 2 extra large. It's nice looking vest. It's 100% wool. Really nice. Some of this stuff sells really well. I had it priced up higher. I thought it was going to sell for a higher amount. It kind of sat for a little while. This sat for 56 days. I bought this with a bunch of suits and a bunch of Converse shoes from another reseller. I probably should have not picked up the Converse shoes. I think I've made my money back on the Converse shoes, but I still got a bunch listed. If anybody's a size 9 US men's, look in my eBay store. I got some Converse shoes. Most of them are samples. I think that's part of the thing. I just stopped looking them up at one point just because they were driving me crazy. I couldn't figure it out because usually a shoe will have a stock number. You can look it up, figure out the model. And I'm not familiar with Converse. But anyway, this was a nice one. It had like a cotton back, wool in the front. Really nice looking Polo Ralph Lauren. Some Polo Ralph Lauren stuff does really well. This is one of the ones that you'd want to look out for. It sold for $128. And like I was into this for about $10. And like I said, it took 56 days to sell. So not too bad. All right, let me see here. Let's get into the next one. Next thing is probably the thing that sold the quickest thing. That this sold probably within like 2 hours of listing. It's a Brooks Brothers. It's green. It's cashmere, Scottish cashmere V-neck sweater, 2 extra large. There's a bunch of different things here that work for this sweater. Number one is the color. It's a nice color. It's not your blue. It's not your green that, or your blue and blacks that you see a lot. Sometimes even a brown. It's green. It's a little bit different. The size also helps on this. It's a bigger sweater. And also now it's cashmere. And it's also 3-ply. I think they have a 4-ply. Also higher the ply, higher the amount you can get for these. This one I paid up for this. I paid like $12 for this, knowing I would be able to get a good price for this. I believe this sold for $110. I took a offer from a buyer fairly quickly the first day. I was like, you know what? You got it. You can have it. And it was like 2 hours. Sometimes I'll just like to move something really quickly, you know, because I'm going to run this on sale. Let's say I run a 20% sale. So I'm down to 112. So actually, you know, I sold it within a decent amount of what I'm fair for and what I have into it. And sometimes you just got to sell stuff and move it on. What's up, Mr. Kent? How you doing? Krillin, what's up, brother? There's an item Wes I had in this inventory here for a long time. There's a few things. There's one thing. But there's one thing probably up near there. And it's freaking a beautiful item. But it took forever to sell. So let me see here. Next item we're going to talk about is this item right here. This is a J Press. Now, I'm not a fan of picking up anything Harris tweed if it doesn't have a regular name with it for the most part. It has to have somewhat a name associated with it for me to pick it up. Or otherwise, it sits way too long for me. But this was a J Press. This sold in 5 days. I found this up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I decided to go up that way one day looking for some signs off of Facebook. Kind of had a bad day looking for it. But this was a nice, heavy tweed jacket. And you'll see right here, it has this little hole right there. This is actually a 3-button jacket. And it's like a 3-roll 2 or it's 2-roll 3. I forgot how exactly which way you pronounce it. Basically, it's a 3-button jacket, but you button it as a 2-button. It could be buttoned as a 3rd, but it doesn't look right ever. It's maybe if it's colder outside, you would, you know, button it as a 3 to get from wherever you got. It has the nice leather wrap buttons and everything. It's a really nice looking jacket, as you can see right here. Something that somebody in New England would wear in the winter. It's half lined, you see right there. It's made by J Press. It's a little bit older, has the Harris tweed, nice green herringbone to it, nice buttons and everything like that. Really nice, clean looking jacket. This sold in 5 days. This sold for $130. And I paid $5 for it. So I was pretty happy with that sale. Just going and looking and making sure everything's okay. I'm watching Tracy, Tommy, and Ronnie at the same time. Is Tracy and Tommy on now? I didn't see anything that they were going to be on. I feel bad now. Maybe just a little. But this is something I found not for the first time. First time I found one of these items new. And it was a Dale of Norway sweater for the Olympics, 1998 Olympics in Utah, I believe it was. I'll probably see it when I go through this. But the booklet was actually kind of cool. And looking at the pictures from now, what is 22 years old? This is Dale of Norway sweaters do really well if you find them. They usually have an Olympic theme to them. There's a half zip, as you see right here. Had the tags still attached. I paid up for this. I paid about $25, as you can see right there. Olympics for 1998. So this was really nice. And Dale of Norway, there's a sweater, M on it. But really nice vintage piece. This sold for I think this sold for $160. $160 plus $9 shipping. Like I said, I paid up for this. I paid about $25. And this took approximately 40 days to sell. So it wasn't the quickest thing, but it did sell nevertheless pretty quickly. And I was happy with that. Every once in a while, I'll find one. Probably once a year, I'll find a Harris tweed one. Sometimes I find it in that dongle tweed, or the dongle mist that has the cashmere blend to it, which is nice also. Which actually goes for more money too. But as you know that too, though. This is next on the list here. We got a pair of FootJoy shoes. I picked these up. And I almost left them behind in a way, because I think I paid $10 for these, right around 10. And these are a pair of FootJoy. They're men's golf shoes. They're black. And I have some classic ones, are the ones that you're supposed to look for. They're really nice looking, leather. They're made in USA. Really good shoes. These are probably 90s, I would guess, possibly 80s, but I'm going to guess 90s. These were never worn. These were all black. Basically saddle wingtip. I don't know. But you can see right there, they were never worn. 10.5 cc's narrow, but they didn't have the spikes in the bottom, which is pretty easy actually, because you can just replace these with the plastic ones. You can't use the metal ones. I have a pair of really beautiful ones that are listed now, FootJoy Classics, with the metal tips in them, and they've been sitting for a while. I've had some interest, but it seems like people just dip off whenever we start talking about them. But these were listed for 187 days. I paid $10 and I sold them for $160. And these actually went to Australia. All right, let me see here. So get rid of that one. This next one is the first time I ever found this brand. I found it over the summer when me and the wife actually went RV shopping up in New Hampshire. We were going through Boston on a Saturday, and I found this. This is a Belstaff woman's motorcycle kind of jacket. It was really weird because I wasn't really gonna buy this. I seen it and I had to buy it. It had some little bit of issue conditions, which I'll show you here. It had to be a little bit older of a jacket. Just didn't look. But you can see right here, it had some pen markings on this, and I tried to clean this up. Right there, you can see I tried to clean it up, and it was not working. I actually watched some YouTube video on somebody how to clean pen off a leather, and yeah, it didn't work on this one. So I tried with a small area. It still had the like spare buttons and everything like that. It was a really nice jacket. You could find some of these. Some of these bring real big money, but this was a woman's. It had a real rip in the liner here too. Also, kind of forget about the little certain things there. But they're still sold. This sold an offer to buy. I think this sold for $145 plus 10 shipping. And I was into this for $30. I seen it, had to have it because it was first time finding it. Sometimes when it's your first time finding something, you will pay up for it, even though you're like, I don't know about that. But you still buy it because you're like, I haven't seen it. I got to buy it. And then I seen the pen marks and stuff as I go into the counter. But I did find a lot of other stuff there, including a woman's barber jacket and some other things. So, but you know, it's one of those things. But it was a really nice jacket, to say the least. Have I ever sold any Harris tweed bags? I don't know. I don't know. I really kind of forget about a lot of these things because some of the things I've sold over the past and I can't remember. Chad is doing well. He had some like illness issues over the a little while ago, but he's doing well. He just took down his channel to kind of take care of himself. He didn't want to family, and unfortunately everything, your health and everything comes first before YouTube a lot. But Chad's doing well. I speak to him almost daily. He's doing well. He's doing good. I'm actually going to see him coming up here pretty soon. But here's another item right here. This is a suit that I just picked out, this suit because this was probably the highest price suit that we've sold. Well, I think there was one other that we sold right around this price over the last month or two. But it was a Brooks Brothers. It was made by R. Caruso. It was golden fleece line of Brooks Brothers, which is their tailored line. And I think they have a made to order or made to wear line and everything. This picture looks a little funky though. I must have had my lighting set up kind of really odd in these pictures, or I took it at nighttime. Taking pictures at nighttime is not good for me. But this was a brown. It was hand-tailed in Italy. You see right here, it said golden fleece on the Brooks Brothers tag. The problem is Brooks Brothers use golden fleece on a lot of their suits that are sometimes not even from the golden fleece line. So you really have to pay attention and understand things. They put it on their shirts. They put 18 on their shirts. They put 1818, of course, is the year they established. So there's a lot of confusion sometimes with tags from them. You can see this tag right here. This is the inside tag. This is a Caruso tag. They made it. They're a higher end designer or tailor, I should say. They make their own clothing, but they also make stuff for some other brands. One of them, I just found a Dunhill jacket recently, which was made by Caruso. It's no different than like Xenia makes a lot of stuff for other brands. Also, Xenia makes stuff for Versace, Tom Ford, Gucci, Yves Saint Laurent. I've seen him even for like Joseph A. Bank. Xenia makes some suits for them, and it's mainly by knowing the tags and what to look for. But this suit took a while to sell. It took about 6 months to sell. Just goes to show you, nothing sells quickly Sometimes some things take forever, some things sell quick. This was a $15 fine at a local thrift store, and it took about 6 months to sell, about 180 days. But sometimes waiting for a good sale will benefit you in the end. All right. Where do you get where do you get a majority of your sales from? You know what? I know from last year, because we were just looking at this recently. It's I don't know. It's California's #1, and I think Florida, New York, Pennsylvania, for whatever reason, and Texas were the top 5. I don't remember exactly the order, but I remember seeing that. Massachusetts actually is #7, because I think a lot of people in Massachusetts, not a huge state. I think we only have like 10 million people or so. So that caught me off guard. It might even be less than that. But that caught me off guard a little bit. But I think some people like to search locally and buy things locally. I don't know why they'll search. Or it could be the new tax thing. Massachusetts doesn't have tax on clothing, so maybe that helps. Not sure how that goes 100%. Oh my God, how did you learn to tie a bow tie? It's a clip-on bow tie. we bought a whole bunch of them at a place, and just sometimes I should probably change the color because I've had blue on for a while, but I probably should change it to a different color. But blue, I think, is pretty like a pretty normal color. Goes with everything, kind of, in a way. All right, here we go. This is a sweater. I picked this up. This is another J Press brand. I would not pick up. I would pick up most J Press suits, or for the most part, but they're a little bit older, stylish, dated. Same kind of people that buy J Press are the same ones that you find that buy like the Brooks Brothers or the vintage Polo Ralph Lauren, or even like Southwicks and stuff like that. More of, I almost feel like it's a New England or Northeast style of menswear, you know. But this was new with tags. We found this at a new Salvation Army that opened near us, and let's see if we can. It was just a regular blue, but it had like a itchy, scratchy wool to it, almost like a tweed wool. You can see right there, it was new with tags, and the name of they called it the Shaggy Dog wool, Shaggy Dog sweater. I had a little picture of a dog there, as you can see. And I had a retail of $245 on it. So it was kind of cool. It was kind of nice. I paid $6 for this. This sold extremely quick. This took one day to sell. Pretty quickly, I had a bunch of watchers to buyers, and I think I just went and sent one out, and I think we got $155 for it, and it sold, like I said, within under a day. So I was happy. I can tie a tie if I have to, but it may take a few chances. I had to tie a tie for a while for going to court a while back, many years ago. I went to court and always tried to look very presentable. I made a habit of going out of court for like 2 years in a row for making some stupid mistakes. What's the most probable stores? What do you mean by most probable stores? Like thrift stores? Like eBay stores? I'm not really 100% sure. Gas stations? Not sure. But anyway, let's get into it. We're getting down the home stretch here. We're getting into some nice higher dollar sales here. All right, probably a month ago, We got into a bunch of snapback hats. I picked up 28 of them, I believe. I'm down to about they were all LA Raiders era hats, so 90s, all snapbacks. Snapbacks are the ones with the plastic thing in the back that you snap it. Make these a little bit bigger. These were really good condition. I didn't take the best pictures. I was kind of quick, but you see that has the block leathers in the back that go on the back of the hat. The front, it has the shield. On the side, it has the shield. I put these up on Instagram, and I literally got like 40 messages in like a few hours. What to sell? Sell me this, sell me that. And most of the people were like lowballing the shit out of me. So I just said, forget it. They're made of wool. This was made by American Needle. And these are very popular caps. Not all of them, but LA Raiders is popular because of the movie Menace to Society. Also, NWA wore a lot of LA Raiders stuff. So a lot of people look for this, especially a lot of these hats. This one I took an offer. I sold it for $195. Took 8 days to sell. So this hat paid for everything. I paid like $120 or so for the 8 hats. So I was at the thrift store when they came in and just made a price for all of them instead of they're putting them out back. But a few years ago, these snapbacks would have went for even more money than they do now, believe it or not, which is crazy. The market is kind of soft on those over the last few years, but if you could find certain ones, like they have a block print, I think big all over print from was it Logo Athletic or something? Or yeah, I think. And then like Sports Specialties has a bunch of different ones that do really well. You think Oakland Raiders would do better? No. The LA Raiders is because of the era of the hat. That's why it does well. The era of the hat was when they were in LA, so so I just try to put as many keywords in there. Oakland, LA, just figuring out who Mr. Sadie. No, I think the last set of signs were the ones I told you about. We're in Mississippi. I hope they're coming this way next month. There's a show in Missouri, and I know somebody that's going down, and hopefully they can pick them up. So I'll have them probably middle of next month, hopefully. But a lot of different things going on. Can't really spend any extra money on signs at the moment. I think the Raiders would have done better if they hung on to Pryor. Was Pryor the kid from Oklahoma City, a running back? I don't remember. I know they didn't do well with that Russell kid. That's for sure. Chad is doing well, David. I have a real question. How tall size sport coats? What? I'm not sure what you're trying to state there, buddy. You're talking about measuring. I'll do a video tomorrow on measuring suits and sport coats, since I have to do a few pictures of a few. I'll make some. But tell you the truth, Mr. Sadie, if I can't make that happen next month, I'm actually going at the end of February, early March, in that vicinity. It's in southern. Well, I have to pick them up in Mississippi, so Missouri is probably not that far away, right? But we'll see. But anyway, we're getting off topic here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 things, 5 things more to show. Some good shit. But let's see here. This thing is the ugliest damn thing I've ever seen in my life, man. This is a St. John's evening suit woman's thing. It's a skirt, and oh, it's hideous, really ugly. To me, I think it's ugly. It has like these sequins or palettes or whatever they want to call it, like little chips of almost glass, it looks like, in there. And had the skirt. I had a hard time trying to get this skirt to stay on my female mannequin. I actually had to use like a clamp to actually make it stay. But this thing, I swore this thing was going to come back. I really did. But the lady just left positive feedback. So right there, St. John's Evening, Made USA. This is a little bit older of a piece. And then the skirt was St. John's Collection. I think right there is the season, spring of 07. Most of the times on the tags, you can kind of tell. I don't know what that GRP means. Grade 1, maybe. I don't know what that means. But it was a typical Santana knit, which is a blend of wool, spandex, and nylon, I believe. I could be wrong. But this thing sold fairly quickly. I paid $7.50 for this, and it took 2 days to sell. So I was kind of psyched when this thing sold. Not to be confused with St. John's Bay. You do not want to pick up St. John's Bay. St. John's Bay is a different company entirely. You want to stay away from St. John's Bay. Let me see here. How long have you been reselling for? I've been reselling for approximately 8 years. About 6 of those years full time. You found 2 St. John sets in a. That's funny. I gotta show that one. Found 2 St. Johns at an antique store of all places today. Super cheap too. Oh, that's funny. That's crazy. Have you ever been to the bins in New Hampshire? No, I don't. I'm not a bins kind of guy. Not a fan of anything that resembles the bins, unfortunately. It's not my cup of tea. Been to the ones in Boston, which is not that bad, but it's also just not my thing. I may try it again one day, but I've been to a bunch of them and not typically my cup of tea. This is a Brooks Brothers. Once again, this is with the Harris tweed fabric. This is their 818 line. Fitzgerald is the fit. They have different fits: Milano, Fitzgerald, Madison. I think in general they have approximately they have a bunch more fits, but it may be come only to pants because I know some of the pants have a bunch of fits. But there's the Harris tweed. This is a newer Harris tweed label. This was made in Thailand. This is your traditional like salt and pepper style herringbone. It's like a gray or black and light gray. I didn't take too many pictures of this, did I? But you can see the rear vent here on the bottom is still sewn closed. It still had the buttons in the pocket. So I sold this as new without tags. We found this in Worcester. I think I paid around $10 for it. My wife had to do some training at the Worcester airport. And of course, I get to tag along. And she go to work. I go to thrift in a different area. And we stay usually at a pretty nice hotel. They put her up. So, sold fairly well. It sold for $200 plus $10 shipping, which is good. And I charge shipping with everything. And that took about 80 days to sell. It wasn't the quickest thing, but it didn't sell all that bad. Harris tweed is just a material that a lot of suit makers make. And a lot of brands use it. Brooks Brothers, Orvis. Orvis makes a lot of really nice stuff with Harris tweed. I found it also with J. Cruz made some stuff with that. So a lot of it, there's some really nice pieces out there, but it's nicer when you find it's nicer when you find it with like a certain brand. It does really actually does fairly well. So we get into this thing. This is the thing I've had forever. I've had this. I counted approximately 511 days. I had this in my eBay store. I bought this sometime over the summer of 2018, and it sold in 2019, a few months ago. And this is the 9/11 Polo Ralph Lauren tribute sweater. This came out in the 2002 for the 1 year anniversary. These used to sell a lot higher. I knew someone that picked one of these up a few years ago. They got like 500 or 600 for it. It's like a patchwork style. I mean, it's really cool because it has the Statue of Liberty, has a fire truck, has that like Red Cross emblem, has the flag. It has the black wash targent plaid in the top there, fire helmet, a star, another targent plaid on the sleeve, the USA, and on the. It's a really nice looking sweater, but it's kind of one of those things like, do you want to wear something that reminds you of something that happened that was not really a great experience in America? It kind of brings back a lot of sorrow, you know. This is that vintage. It's not kind of, it's almost vintage, basically. It's close enough, right? 20 years vintage, 2002, 19 years, it's close enough. But I had this for a while. This sold, offered to buys. I think it sold for $220. This I've actually sold twice before that, and it just never got paid for, including one person to Mexico, which I do sell to Mexico occasionally here and there, and it's kind of always this. I'm not sure how the it works out too well with going over there. That's right, Wes. Walmart did have some Harris tweeds a few years ago. I think it was like $60 or $70 for a brand new suit jacket. But just looking through the chat here, making sure everything's okay. Dungle is a tweed. There's a lot of different tweeds. There's a moon tweed, Dungle tweed. Thanks for the super chat, Kyle. Very appreciative. Let me see here. All right, I think I'm all caught up for the moment. We're just going to get into these last two here. How long have we been almost on for a little bit here? This was a jacket here I was on the fence about because the brand is so hit or miss. Like a lot of their, I stay away from their shirts for the most part, unless it's like a really good size, like a 2 extra large or 3 extra large. I really leave this shirt, this brand alone. Or if it's like a linen, would not pick up any of their polos really for the most part. I would not pick up any of their button front shirts because they just seem to take way too long for me to sell. But this was a leather jacket from them. I never found a leather jacket from them. The brand is Paul and Shark. This was a really nice, soft leather jacket. Really nice looking one. And it had the little metal tag in the arm. Really nice. I mean, it looks like it was not worn very much. Made in Italy. Paul and Shark Yachting. You have to be careful with a lot of their sweaters and stuff and the polo shirts because they are copied, often or not copied. What's the faked? And you'll see them here and there. You can tell they're faked. And this one took a little while to sell. This took approximately 4 months to sell. I was into this for either $20 or $25. I got this at the Goodwill in our area. So, but It's sold. And that's the only thing that matters technically is it's sold. I mean, but I was not going to leave that behind. It was a really nice jacket, to say the least. Russians love Polish shark. Yeah, okay, Krillin. You walking through the valley of death tonight? Krillin has to be one of the funniest people I know. Paul Stewart and Paul Smith are good too. Oh, so good. All depends. I do pick up a lot of Paul Stewart stuff. Paul Smith, it depends kind of what it is. But a lot of Pauls. This is the best item, and I found 3 of these, so 3 different models of this, but we'll talk about it a little bit. I've talked about it in the past, but sometimes it's like hitting a nail a bunch of different times just to get it through. This is a pair of Brooks Brothers. These are made by Alden, and they're shell cordovan. You look them up. I've talked about the website enough in the past. There's a website, shellcordovan.com, and you can look them up, and you could, and there's all these shoes got models. You can see right here that says Brooks Brothers made exclusively for Brooks Brothers. That gives you the hint that it's made by somebody else. They're made in USA. And then you go to the website, you put in this number right here, which is 2146, and it tells you they're made by Alden's for Brooks Brothers. Actually, you look under Alden's and you find that number. There are 8.5D. I found actually 3 pairs of these, 3 different kinds. These ones sold the best so far. These sold for $280. You always want to check out the back of the shoes here, the heels. This one had a little slight heel drag. But for the most part, a shell cordovan shoe is a higher grade of leather. It's made from a horse's rear hind area, I believe. And it's just these shoes will last 50, 60, 70 years if maintained properly. And you'll just replace the soles on these. But the leather uppers, they don't crease. They kind of like form little waves. These are really nice. I found 4 pairs of these over the last... I found 3 pairs at our Salvation Army in back-to-back days. I found 1 pair. I went back the next day and found 2 more pairs. I sold one of these since for $210, I believe, and I sold these for $290 or no, $280. And I have currently another pair listed for, I think they're on sale right now. You can go on my eBay store for about $265 or so if you want to buy them. Okay, you want a pair of shoes that are going to last you a lifetime, and you're 8.5, maybe they're a 9. But really nice looking shoe. These were a nice like medallion toe. The other ones I sold were like a plain front shoe. And I think the one I currently have up is like a wingtip. So not bad when you go into a thrift store and you pay $10 for a pair of shoes 3 days in a row. You pay $30 and you possibly can make upwards of like $700 for those shoes. The one pair is taking a little longer than I want because usually these sell extremely fast. That one pair hasn't sold all that quickly of late. Not sure why, but hey. But yeah, and that took about 8 days to sell, so not bad at all. Let me see here. If anybody has any questions, you can ask your questions. I'll stick around for a little bit longer, but let me see here. Mr. Sadie, I think after several years building a reputation and selling menswear, the prices are definitely better, at least for me. I will agree, you know, with your pictures, putting measurements, just knowing more about the item and having higher feedback. I mean, someone sees you and they see you have 5,000 feedback or 10,000 feedback, and maybe you have 1 negative. People are okay with that. You know, they see the 99.9% and they're willing to buy from you. You know, you get a lot of repeat buyers too. you knew the shell cordovan was coming, didn't you? Let me see here. Do you think having a specialty store men's clothing gets you better price? I will agree. Knowing your items, I think that's basically to the last question. I think that was answer to the last question, possibly. Um, what are some good men's button front shirts brands? I feel like I'm passing on some good stuff. Turnbull and Asser, Brioni, Ketone, um, Eaton is another one. Isaiah, I probably didn't say that properly. ISAIA. Dom Brownie, if you could find some of those, or if you could find the Black Fleece line with Brooks Brothers, that does fairly well. Loro Piana. There's a bunch I stay away from too, just because they don't bring as much as I would like. Luciano Barrera is not bad. Then you have there's a lot of Italian ones. And then you could find some of like this Velvet Row ones, if you could find some of those in a dress shirts. Those do really well, like Anderson and Shepherd or Harry Poole. Some of those do extremely well. I went into a store one time and found 10 of the Harry Poole ones, and I was like blown away because there's none listed on eBay, none sold, none listed. I was getting between $85 to $120 a shirt, depending on. It would seem like somebody had the whole rainbow of the shirts, and it was kind of cool. It's cool when you go in and you find like a whole bunch of stuff, and you're like, hell yeah. Is there an easy rule of thumb to tell the difference between a sport coat and a suit coat? Suit coats, let's put it this way. We kind of got to go through all three. Number one is that you got a blazer, which is kind of a sport coat, but a blazer is a blazer. Blazer will be solid in color, usually blue. Could be other different colors, but it's more to look like a uniform. Mostly it's in wool, but it could be tends to be in other colors or other fabrics, and it's mostly has metal buttons. It looks like a uniform, almost in a way. They'll be the ones you see with like the gold buttons or silver buttons, so on, etc. It usually has some type of decorative button. Sometimes it's just nice, thick mother of pearl buttons, but something to set it apart, something that it could stand alone with, like a pair of khakis, or it's supposed to be more casual. Then you have your suit coats or sport coats are made more. They're a little bit more loose fitting. They're going to be more of like tweeds and linens, cashmere. Sometimes there could be full cashmere suits, but they're going to be of plaids and checks and stuff like that. Sometimes there's solid colors too, but when you get to a suit is usually going to be, for the most part, like a pinstripe, or it could be a blue, a gray. Like if you've seen something in a gray, most likely it's a suit jacket. If it's blue and it's like a 3-button, it's probably a suit jacket. A lot of times you can tell by the tags. If you see like a drop and it'll say like a tag size, sometimes they'll say, like Brooks Brothers will tell you a waist size. They'll say like 48 long, 40W. 40W is the waist of the pants. And if it doesn't have the pants, then that's it. Anything pinstripe, for the most part, unless it's a seersucker, which a seersucker is a cotton, usually in your traditional blue and white stripe, and it's that textured cotton. So you want to stay away. If you just see a gray jacket, for the most part, like a charcoal gray, you want to stay away from it for the most part. Pinstripes, if it's just a jacket, you want to stay away from. Black is another one. Black, people don't usually, part of a black suit, probably not going to sell all that well. So you just have to pay attention and look for things like that. Sometimes if you see drop, also that's the difference between the waist and the suit jacket size. It'll say like drop 8. So something will be a 48 and the waist will be a 40. So just something to look for. Sometimes it just takes time to understand to the difference. But that's just some quick hits. There's videos I've made on that before if you want me to get more in depth to it. Shit, there was a YouTuber I made a whole video talking about that kind of stuff a few years ago. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I don't think he makes videos anymore. But if you look my name and probably just put Ronnie Hart and search Google and put like suit in the title, it would probably come up. But let me see here. How many items do you sell on a daily basis? How many times do you go to the, I guess he means to the post office. For me, I never go to the post office unless I have to pick up like stamps. I never go to the post office. We have 2 guys that come. One comes Monday through Friday. Sometimes he doesn't work Mondays and he doesn't work Sundays. But we have a really good mailman. His name is Dennis, and we've had him all 8 years I've lived here. So 9 years. He's been at the post office. He's a nice guy. We had him when we had the warehouse too. We had the same guy, and he was always nice. If he didn't see packages left out, he would text us sometimes. Be like, hey, I didn't see packages at the warehouse. Do you have them at the house today? Because sometimes if we weren't going to, like, we would get the stuff and bring it to the house. We live in a condo complex, so we have to have a little specific area because we live on the first floor. It's kind of easy. We have a little hidden area that we hide our packages, and he just comes and picks them up every morning. He comes way early, so let me see here. How do you do lengths of jackets as far as short? Where that goes? Short, regular, and long. Most of the time, a jacket, it also depends on the sleeves too. It's a combination of both. If it's not listed, it just depends on what it is. But if you're doing from the bottom of the collar, a regular will depend on the size of the jacket. If it's a smaller size jacket, like a 40, it should be like 29 or 30. But if you had like a 32 on a 40-inch jacket, that would be a long. But if you had a 48 and you had 32, it's right on that cusp of being a regular. So it just depends on the size of the jacket. There's ways to figure that out. There's websites also. I'm not sure exactly where they are. I printed off one a long time ago when I found it. What's up, Justin? How you doing? Start to get some sales again? But let me see here. What's up, Axel? How you doing? But if there's no more questions, I'm gonna jump out of here in a minute or two. But today's been a decent day on eBay. We had a $260 sale today, so I was pretty actually excited for a pair of shoes. $260, a pair of Salvatore Ferragamos going to England. So I was happy with that. I think I was into those shoes for like $12, and they were alligator loafers with the tassels. I got my alligator loafers with the tassels. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But I'm going to get going. Thank you guys for all coming out today and stopping by and saying hello. Now, remember, if you like more content like this, hit that like button. Make sure you hit the ding-a-ling bell. And I'll see you guys later. Have a good day. See you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Share to all your friends.